Okay. We'll start with the 2013 A-level paper. Question number 2, but question number 2 part 1 case is ideally from unit number 1 though. Okay. But we'll discuss because the other subsections are from unit number 2, so I have not separated this part and given in unit number 1. Okay. So for 4 marks in the 2013 paper, question number 2, they're asking us describe the signaling and rationing functions of market prices. Here's what can you say, guys? So you don't have to write 2 marks. So ideally, 2 marks each for each one of this because they're only asking for 2. No? So what can you tell about the signaling function, or in other words, the informative function? What can you say? Signaling, or in other words, signaling. What can you say, guys? Anything that you need to write for 2 marks. What can you say? So I'm not going to dictate an answer, guys. The answer should be there in your textbook, right? Or your past paper book. So what you can say is, you can say the signaling function or the informative function of price is where price provides useful information to whom? To consumers and producers when in order to make a consumption or a production decision. For example, if the you can say if the price of a product is very high, it gives a signal to the producer saying, why can the price of product be high, guys? Maybe there is a huge demand for that good, right? The demand is very high, but there is not much of a supply. So it gives a signal to the producer, look here, right? The price of this product is very high, go and supply this product. And maybe let's say if the price of product is too low, what does it give a signal to the producer? It tells the producer, look here, right? There are so much people supplying this good. There is such an excess supply of that. That is why the price of it is very low, right? So don't go and supply this. Maybe reduce your supply. That is what the signaling or informative function is about. What does it do? It provides useful signals or information to whom? The producers and the consumers, in order to do what? In order to make their purchasing and in terms of a producer, their supply easy. Okay, you need to write that. Whatever that you all know, you need to write for 2 marks. Then what is the rationing function? The rationing, or another word, is the allocative function. What is this? The rationing or the allocative function is where price plays a role of matching demand and supply. In other words, price is playing a role to allocate the amount of supply to the number of units that is available. Now, I'll just give you a basic example which I would have taken in my theory classes. Okay. Now, remember, if you talk about, let's say, a cricket match, okay, if you take a cricket match that is, let's say, in a stadium, okay, so there is the supply. So what is the supply? Supply here is the number of seats. Okay, so the cricket stadium is supplying, let's say, 10,000 seats. Let's say 100,000 seats. And let's say the demand for the product, let's say 100,000 people want to go and watch this match. So then demand and supply are matching, no problem at all. Let's say the price of this cricket match was, let's say, ticket was rupees 500. Okay. Now let's assume the World Cup begins. Right now it's the World Cup final. Sri Lanka is playing, let's say, Australia in the 2023 World Cup final. Okay. So in this, please, can you tell me, will the supply change? Will the number of seats that is given by the stadium change? No, right? Unless they have done expansion or something. We'll assume all of that is constant. So still the stadium has 100 seats. 100 seats, same lights, same umpire, same players, right? Dasun Chanaka is captain, no change at all. Right? Yes, what do you think would happen to the demand in this instance? Now, this is a World Cup final, not a normal match that we are talking about. What do you think? Will the demand also be 100,000? Or do you think it will be much more than that? The demand would be much more, right? Come on, it's a World Cup final now. Sri Lanka is playing, let's say, Australia. There is now a demand of, let's say, 300,000 people. Now, there are 100,000 seats, but the demand is for 300,000. Now, what do you think will happen to the price, guys? Now, how can you allocate 100,000 seats for 300,000 people? That's the rationing function. So what is the role that price should play now in a situation like this? How do you ration Or how do you allocate 100,000 seats for 3,000 people who are willing to buy, guys? Who are willing to pay that and come and buy? What do? You increase the price, right? So you will increase the price until what happens? Until the demand comes down to 300,000, because you can't expand the seats or anything. So you will keep on increasing little by little by little by little until what happens? Until the demand also comes down to 100,000. So let's say the price of ticket now is 2,500. So the normal cricket match, the price is a 500 because demand and supply is equal to each other, no problem. But here, since the demand is high, how do you allocate or how do you ration it? By increasing price. So if I am to draw this in a diagram and show you, okay, now this is a little bit extra, okay, is what kind of a supply curve should I draw? If I draw a supply curve like this for this story, is it correct? Do you think? Upward sloping supply curve like this. Think with the numbers and see, is it correct or wrong? This is a little bit of advanced knowledge. Kind of wrong, right? Because when the price is $500, supply is 100,000. When the price is 2,500, supply is 100,000. So what does that mean? We have a perfectly inelastic supply, right? Perfectly inelastic supply. So even though no matter what the price is, the number of seats is 100,000. So the price can be 500, price can be 2,500, price can even be 10,000. We don't care. The number of seats is always going to be 100,000. So the demand curve, we can draw a normal downward sloping thing. Okay. So let's say initially we would have been here when the price is 500. Now this is the second situation that I'm drawing now. Okay. When the price is 500, okay, when the price is 500, the demand would have been 300,000. Okay, this is the demand. So now see, at the price of 500, 300,000 people want to buy this demand. The supply of this good is only 100,000. So what did price do then? How did price ration or how did price allocate 300,000 people for just 100,000 seats? What did the price do? In this instance, the price went up. So when the price went up, what happened? Some people can't afford this. They can't afford 2,500 tickets. So as a result, the quantity demand comes down. Now at this price of 2.5, the demand and supply are both equal. That is what you call the rationing function. Okay, so how does price perform the rationing function? So now this thing I only explain. On your side, what I want you all to do is to find the words to write an answer. You don't have to give this example and all when you're writing an answer, but you need to know how to explain. Is that okay, guys? Signaling and the rationing function. 2 marks each. Fine. Can you come up with a nice answer for homework if you have not written? Right? So that I want you all to practice, guys. I'm not going to spoon feed an answer. You can write your answer. You can check with your past paper book also and see, and you can see what has happened. Okay. Right. Then we'll go to the next one. Name 4 major non-price determinants of supply of an industrial product. What do you all think, guys? Non-price determinants. Can you say price of the good here? You can't say price of the good because they are saying non-price. So what can you say, guys? For an industrial good, think industrial good is like a machine or something. Maybe level of technology. Okay, correct. Level of technology. What else? Cost of production, right? The prices of factors of production, correct? Right? Prices of factors of production. In other words, you can say that is the that is the cost of production. Okay, so you can say this. What else? Give the main ones first, guys. For an industrial good, what do you think? You can say yes, government policies, fine. Government policies like what? Government policies like taxes and subsidies, correct? What else? Okay, future expectations, number of suppliers, correct? Number of suppliers. You can say future expectations, right? You can talk about price of related goods, right? What are related goods here? Production substitutes. There is a question, we'll talk about that there, right? So you can give all of this. And they're saying you to name 4, no, guys. So you don't have to go and explain any of this. As long as you have named 4, should be more than enough. The only thing that you need to have in mind is don't write price of the good. Why? Because they have said name for major non-price determinants. That is, apart from the price of the good, what are the other determinants? You can write price of related goods, no problem there. You can't write price of the good because price of the good is a price determinant. Is that okay, guys? Fine. That's an easy 4 mark that you can get. Okay. Going to the next. Question number 126. Okay. Sorry, not question number. Slide number 126. Question number 2013. Question number 2, subsection 3. Some of the data relevant to market demand and supply schedules are given below. Assuming both demand and supply curves are linear, derive the equation for market demand and supply. Easy one, a very basic one, but not being tested in much past papers. Yes. How many of you all know how to do this? If they give you a demand and supply schedule, how many of you all can figure out how to make the demand equation and the supply equation? How do we do this? So remember, how do you make the demand equation? To find the demand equation, first thing that you do is you need to find your B component. What is your B component? Your B component is change in QD divided by the change in price. So can you look at the two information they have given you and tell me what is this case? So let's say when you're going from price 4 to price 8, what is the change in QD? What is the change in price? When we go from 4 to 8, change in price is 4, right? This is the change in price. What is the change in QD? 68, 84 going to 68. That's the change in QD. So how much is our numbers? Our numbers are then, our B component would be, that is the minus B ideally. Change in QD, 84 going to 16, 84 going to 68 is a minus 16. Change in price is a plus 4, 4 going to 8. So how much is our B component then? It becomes a minus 4. Is that clear, guys? How I found the B component of our equation. Fine. Okay. Now what do I do? Once I found the B component, I have now find the A component. How do I find the A component, guys? To find the A component, I will substitute. So QD equals A minus BP. I'll take any point that I like. Let's take the first point below, right? I'll take this point. So what will I do? So at that point, how much is the QD? QD is 84. How much is A? I don't know. I'm finding A, right? A. How much is B? I found in my previous step, it's a minus 4. Remember, don't think overthink and put plus and minus. It's minus always. Okay. Into what is the price there? Price is 4. Okay. So how did I get this 84 and 4, guys? 84 came from here. The 4 of price came from here. The minus 4 for the minus B part came from my previous step. That is over here. Okay. So when we solve this, guys, can you tell me how much is A? A is equal to how much? A should be equal to 84 plus 16, right? So how much is that? A is equal to 100. Then what is my final equation? QD equals 100 minus 4B. I found my A, I found my B. Are you all okay with that case? Those are the 2 steps to find the demand equation. First you find the B component, then you find the A component, and you give your final equation like this. Right. Then what do we do? Then let's find the supply equation. Can you follow the same steps and give me an answer, guys? How much do we get for the supply equation? Same thing. In the supply equation, you do the same thing. So supply equation, you first find the B component. That is the change in quantity supplied. QD A minus BP. Yes, QD is A minus BP. Okay. Divided by change in price. So how much is my change in quantity supplied? Let's take the 2 points that is given here. The change in quantity supplied is 12 going to 44. That is my change in QS. Change in price 4 going to 8. So what do I get as numbers, guys, then? My change in quantity supplied 12 going to 44 is how much? 22, 32, 42, 32. divided by, so this is a plus 32 divided by change in price is a plus 4. So don't need to worry about the pluses and minus because both are plus. So then how much is my B component? It's a plus 8, right? Then what do? I now have to go to make my B component here. So what is my my A component? How do I find my A component? My A component is QS equals A plus BP. Select any point that you like. Now for this, I'll go with the second point, let's say. I'll go with this price 8 and QS 44. I can either take price 4 and 12, either 4 and 12 or 8 and 44. So then how much do I get? So QS, I would take 44. For A is what I'm finding. B I found in the previous step is 8. P is 8. So 44 is equal to A plus 8 into 8 is 64. Right? 64. So A is equal to 44 minus the 64. A is equal to minus 20. So what is my final equation? QS equals minus 20 plus 8P. That is a very basic theory area which I took some time to show you all because there are no other past papers that come on this part. We can simply minus 20 from 12. Not very sure what that was, but this is the proper method. Is that okay, guys? Fine. How to come up with the demand and supply equations if they have given you a simple demand and supply schedule. Everyone fine? Say yes, no. Okay. Right. So QD is 100 minus 4P because the price before that is 0. He says you can do that also. So you can, since this is linear, you can do that. To find the A component, you can make it from the this itself. So if this is 0, the change is 16. So then this has to be how much? No, change is 14. So this will be 60. But when the price is 0, sorry, this will be 100. This will be a minus 32. That has to be a minus 20. You can do that, no problem. If you can figure that out, great. Right? But you can do the normal method. Okay. Right. So with that, we can move to the next one then. Next one is saying compute the equilibrium price and quantity. That I am not going to do for you all. Can you all give me an answer? QD is 100 minus 4P. QS is minus 20 plus 8P. QD is 100 minus 4P. QS is minus 20 plus 8P. So I'm not going to show you how to find this, but can you all give me the answer, guys? How much is the equilibrium price? Equilibrium price. I don't know why are they giving 4 marks for that. Price is 10. Okay. How much is the equilibrium quantity? Quantity is a okay 60 units. Done. So equilibrium price is done and equilibrium quantity is done. Guys, I'm hoping all of you all by now know how to do this, right? How to find equilibrium price and quantity. Don't be a disgrace to whoever who taught you all how to do that. Okay. Done. Assuming the government imposes a specific tax of 3 rupees per unit, compute the price received by the producer after the tax and the tax revenue of the government. There's a lot to do here now. Okay. So we'll first remember I told you when you get a question like this, you always product draw and see. We'll draw and see. Okay. So you have the demand curve. You have the supply curve. Based on demand and supply, we have an equilibrium price and quantity. How much is that? Price is 10. Quantity is how much? Quantity is 60. And now what is happening? Government is coming to the middle and imposing a tax of 3 rupees. Guess what happens to the supply curve then? When there is a tax of 3 rupees, the supply curve will shift to the left. Right. So this is the new supply curve, S plus T. So now you will have a new equilibrium price. You will have a new equilibrium quantity. Can you work around and first, okay, what is the first step, guys, in this thing? In a question like this, what's the first thing that you would do? To find the equilibrium price and quantity, what should you find before that? You should find the new supply equation, right? Yeah. Moving to the left is supply decreasing. Yes. we let supply decrease. So when there is a tax, supply decreases. It's a bad thing for the producer. Producer's cost of production goes up, supply decreases. Okay, right. So you need to make the new supply equation. Now, what is our supply equation? New format QS equals A plus B within brackets P minus T. So QS equals our A was minus 20, B was 8, within brackets P minus how much is my tax? My tax is 3. Okay, guys, I'm hoping you all know this, right? The format of the new supply equation, and then we substitute the numbers there. How did this 20 and 8 and all come? From our previous one, here. Yeah, minus 20 plus 8, and then the tax is how much? Tax is 3. So when I solve this, guys, what is my new supply equation? Minus 20, 8 into P is 8P, 8 into minus 3 is minus 4, 24. So QS, my new supply equation would be minus 44 plus 8P. Is that okay, guys? Are you all okay with this? How to get the new supply equation? Okay, right. So now you can find the new equilibrium. So can you all do that for me? Your new equilibrium will be your old QD equation. You equate it your new supply equation. So QD is how much? Minus 100 minus 4P, right? 100 minus 4P. QS, your new one, is minus 44 plus 8P. So can you move things around and give me the equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity? I'm not going to do that for you. So you substitute, move around, find the equilibrium price, get the price, substitute to either one of these equations, and get the quantity. Can you give me the numbers, guys? How much is the equilibrium price? How much is the equilibrium quantity? Price has to be more than 10. Quantity should be less than 60. How much do we get? Prices. Okay. Price is 12. Quantity is 52. 52. Okay. So I'm going with the answers that you all gave me on the chat box. Guys, I'm skipping those steps because those are very basics, right? I'm hoping by now you all know, guys. Please don't miss classes. Okay. So price is 12. New one. Quantity is 52. Is that what they're asking in this question? Compute the price received by the producer. So if I say price received by the producer is 12, is that correct? How much you think is the price received by the producer here? Think, guys, there's a tax of 3 rupees. New equilibrium price is 12. That means consumer is paying 12. So how much does the producer get at the end? Price received by the producer is consumer pays 12. Government charges a tax of 3. So how much does the producer get at the end of the day? He only gets 9 rupees. So how do you show that in the diagram? In the diagram, it is this price over here. Which price? Let me put that in another color, green, right? This is the price of 9. Is that okay? Price received by the producer. By looking at this question, guys, can you tell me who is bearing a higher portion of the tax burden, consumer or the producer? Who is bearing a higher portion? Does the consumer bear a higher portion of the tax or the producer bear a higher portion of the tax? These can be questions in your exam. So consumer earlier paid 10 rupees, is now paying 12 rupees. So consumer is paying 2 rupees of the tax. Producer earlier received 10, is now only receiving 9. So producer is bearing only 1 rupee of the tax. So what is the areas, guys? This is the producer tax burden, the purple one. Which one is the consumer tax burden? This green one. So this is a little bigger than the purple area. My diagram might not look perfect, but you can see consumer is bearing 2 rupees of the tax. Okay. And the producer is bearing only 1 rupee of the tax. So consumer is bearing a higher portion of the tax. Can be questions which come in your paper. Okay. This part is done. Compute the price by the producer. What is the tax revenue of the government? There is another part for this question. Don't forget that. How much is the tax revenue? Very simple. Tax revenue. See, per unit, government is charging a 3 rupee tax. How much is the new equilibrium quantity? How many units are sold in the market? Now there is 52 units sold in the market after tax. Then how much will the government earn as tax revenue? Per unit 3 rupees. Total 56 units are being sold. That means government earns 156 rupees. That's the next part of this question. So now in the question, they are only asking you these two, but for you to do these two, you have to do all the other workings. So to find price received by the producer and to find the tax received, you have to make the new supply equation, you have to make the new equilibrium price and quantity, right? You have to do all of that. Only then you can get into an answer. Is that okay? Fine. That's 2013 A levels question number 2. Step. Easy one. Done. Okay, that's it with the 2013 one. How did you all do? Was it okay? The first one asked about signaling and rationing. Second one was non-price determinants. Third one was to make the demand equation. Fourth one was to calculate equilibrium price. I'm not sure if my numbering is correct. I think it's under the third one, it's A, B, C, D. Just check. I can't remember. Okay. And then the last one was to calculate all of this. Okay.